With the burger.
Yeah, the throne room of heaven is a giant burger.
It's a giant,
Dude!
It's a giant.
Yo, God knows what's up, man.
It's a crystal burger. You think it's a 4-piece or whatever because they're like tiny?
It's a slider.
A floor full of sliders, and once you take one out and eat it, another one gets replaced, bro.
Dude, a floor
Endless
full of
supply
sliders.
of sliders.
Dude, those little sliders slap.
That is gluttonous
good.
heaven, bro.
Dude, listen, you get a little bit of mustard on it.
Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to Cast Those Nets. Dude, I hate you guys so much. This is Dakota Lewis. I'm joined here by
Will.
Why'd you say it like you didn't know?
My name.
And this is Billy Bob Harrison.
No, dude. Yeah, point to him if you're gonna.
Yeah, so we're here with Will and Billy, and I'm Dakota.
Everybody, this is a Christian podcast, and we're about to drop some Christian knowledge
On your face.
Exactly.
Sit it right
Wherever
on
your face is.
All right, how are y'all doing today? We really are just happy to be here again, and happy to be able to talk about Jesus to a group of listeners that has been really committed to us, and we are very proud to announce that we don't have anything planned for today. I'm just kidding. That's not true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's half not true.
It's a major theme.
It's
It's been coming up.
It's a kind of a repeat from last week, but I think I don't know. I feel like the vibes are better today than they were last week.
Yeah, I think because last week we
It was a
really
little
tried. We really tried. It was tense.
It was tense.
I guess it was tense.
There was thickness in the air.
No, you're kidding, but yeah.
Anytime
I'm
I'm
not
here,
kidding.
there's thickness in the air.
Are you insinuating that you're in the air?
I have a thick bottom.
Oh my gosh. I do too, but I don't think Billy has that thick of one.
No,
No, Billy's just a tall beam pole.
I think mine's just normal.
Yeah.
it's
Not
as thick as his
forehead.
I have a thick forehead. Ain't nothing damaging my brain.
I mean, unless it's from the side. I mean, if it's from the side.
I don't know if that's sound logic.
I'm like a ram, dude. I can run into things.
No.
Do a metal plate.
Just because you have a bigger forehead doesn't mean that you can have.
Okay, we didn't mention the big forehead. We just mentioned
Just because you have a thick forehead.
Alright.
Doesn't.
Dude, what if it like
Just get that. Like,
What if it like stuck out?
oh, weird.
Like a
Peyton Manning?
No, like a beluga whale. It's just like it's like poking out, bro. Peyton Manning. Yeah, kind of like that.
Peyton Manning has been injecting stuff. Anyways.
Into his forehead.
I looked it up, yeah.
No, I think he like took steroids or he took HGH because he had.
And you put it in your forehead.
No, well maybe I don't know. I never used it. But
I
I think he had to do it because he had a hurt neck, so he had to use it.
Forehead?
There's veins in there.
maybe he didn't put it in his forehead.
No, he didn't put it in his forehead. Were you being serious?
Because there's not
Well,
that
look at
much.
it.
I don't know why his forehead is so big.
I saw like a
People just have
lapse.
big heads, okay?
It's like a thing of him in high school.
Dude, that is crazy.
And then in the NFL, and like it's
Dude, it literally goes from being like this big to being like
normal forehead to
like your forehead.
Chrome dome.
Dude, yeah.
Mine is not that big.
No, I mean it's kind of large. All right, what's our verse of the day, boys? Isn't it Philippians 2:7?
Yeah, go ahead and read it for us.
Dude, I'm gonna go ahead and read it for you. Oh, wait, it had to open
No,
the app.
Will's not gonna do it.
No,
so
here we
I
go.
can-
Here we go. All right, so Philippians 2:7 is, rather he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness and being found in appearance as a man. He humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross.
A cross.
So what does that mean to you, boys?
Well, something that's great about that is it's the true definition of humility. You know, you get the most powerful creator or the most powerful person in the universe, and then they become like us. You know, he basically chooses to not fully use his whole bit of power, you know, and his strength to destroy us. But he chooses to become just like one of us, all the way to the obedience of dying on the cross. You know, it's crazy thinking about how someone with that much power, they choose to die on the cross for us because they love us. You know, it's amazing.
I think that's really important what you point out about how he's so powerful and yet he still came and was a servant for us. The same verse that I'm thinking of that also demonstrates like this powerful love is Romans 8:38 through 39, and it basically just says like there's literally nothing that can separate us from the love that God has for us, and both
Stop!
So that went deep.
So both Philippians 2:7 and these two verses, Romans 8:38 through 39, demonstrate this great love that God has for us, and it's just like you think about it, that you literally cannot be separated from that love. There's nothing that you could do or that anyone else could do that could separate you from God's love. Like God will always love you no matter what you do. And that's amazing.
I think a part of Philippians 2:7 that really that people that especially that I don't really think about in the whole scheme of God is that where it says and being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself, becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. It really shows that when Christ was here, he was living by example the whole time, and even to the extent of being humbled, like Dakota and Billy have said, the all-powerful creator that could have destroyed us with a thought. Not only did he choose not to do that, he humbled himself enough to come down and become his creation and to die to save it. So I think that's really cool, and I think just we should look at his example of humbleness. Is that the word? Humility. That he would die for us and that he would give his life.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if you try to think about this, so a lot of times we have a hard time trying to be humble, and we're not perfect at all. You know, we have nothing special about us. Could you imagine if we were like put in Jesus' shoes and we were perfect? You know how hard it would be to humble ourselves, to be like us.
Well, there's a reason we don't have that.
I know.
Impossible.
Yeah,
as a
human.
And that's a big thing the Bible reveals to us is that, you know, when it's just us, it's impossible. Just us.
The Justice League.
Yes. It's true.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that really speaks to his character even more. That, I mean, even though he became the creation, he didn't become like it. Just as in the sense that, even though we try to be, a good thing for this world as Christians, but we don't need to be of this world.
Yeah.
And the only way that we can be a good thing for the world is if we don't let it affect us. So I think it's a very deep and very complicated lifestyle to live that way, but because it's hard to understand something that you're not a part of. But the fact is that we can understand it because God is in us and God created all of the earth.
Do you guys think that we live like that enough? That we're not of this world? Or do you think that we get caught up too often in what this world is, and we get too just
look where the world is today. Look how the world is right now. And that shows.
Oh, no, 100%. I definitely don't think we do. I definitely don't think we do live for heaven enough in this world. I think we really live for the earth most of the time. And again, it speaks to why we need Christ all the more.
Yeah.
Because
that's exactly why God died for us, because
he knows that we're going to live for this world.
He knows that we could never do it on our own.
Yeah.
He knows we're going to continue to do it.
Yeah, no matter how hard we try, sin's always going to be part of our life. It's part of us. It's hereditary. It has been since Adam and Eve. I mean, just look, their children sinned. I mean, and like we talked about with Cain and Abel. So I mean,
and
real quickly, guys, we're gonna need to pause. There's some
cut it out.
technical difficulties.
Just cut it.
Hey, what's up, guys? We are back after I don't know, I'd call it a more
Malfunction for sure.
Yeah, a major technical difficulty. That basically means Dakota doesn't know what happened, and we had to postpone our podcast for the week, and we missed a week of uploading. And I would say I'm mad about it, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. We're gonna get right back into it where we left off. And I think we were talking about living of this world and how us as Christians, we're not designed to do that. Honestly, I think we can just leave that topic how it was. I think
we had some good talk on it.
Yeah. I think we had a decent talk and went into enough detail about. I mean, I think we all said what we wanted to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna switch things over into what is our next story.
Yeah. You talking about Tower of Babel now?
We're talking about the Tower of Babel. Blabble. No, it's Babel. Like the Babylonians.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of weird because we were literally been talking about that at college group the past couple times, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool that we're bringing up a topic that I know that we were about to talk about.
That's good.
And so Billy, do you want to go ahead and read us some scripture from Genesis?
Yeah, it's in
having
Genesis
to do
chapter 11.
Tower of Babel.
It's in Genesis chapter 11, and we're going to scroll over a couple of them. Probably not going to read the whole thing, just some things that stand out.
Yeah, as per usual.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and start it. In verse 1 it says, "Now the whole earth had one language and the same words. As the people migrated from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar and settled there." And I've thought about this. When people have the same language, they probably have the same culture too. They have the same language, same words. You would think that they would have the same culture.
Well, think about it like this. There's, people in the
It's
United
true.
States. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. The people in the
They
United
also
States
had different
of America
slangs.
speak-
'Cause it says they had the same words too.
I would
the
say
same words.
location is a very big factor on culture, as well as just like how you're raised, and yeah, exactly that. With the area that you're raised,
There probably wasn't a whole lot of.
I feel like culture also
Spacing out.
culture also has to do with stigma, and usually a lot of the stuff that we do is dictated by a societal stigma. So like us, like just the way we interact with people. Okay, here's one example. Here in the South, I've heard that a lot of people. I don't want to like say a bunch of like things that are wrong, but I've heard that people are generally like friendlier here because like we'll go up and we'll see somebody, it's like, oh hey, how are you doing, or something like that. But whereas people up in areas that are way more populated, they tend to just kind of ignore each other.
Yeah,
That's what I've heard. What I've heard. I can't say that for a fact, but that is something.
Yeah, that's what I've been told too.
Societal thing.
Well, something that I wonder why it was put in here, it says, now the whole world had one language, and then it says, and the same words. So I wonder if that means they had like the same slang and like the same...
One thing you have to wonder about though is like, this is right after the flood, so how many people do you think that there like are right now? Like,
Yeah.
Do you think that all
They
the
probably
people
didn't
on
spread out
Earth
that
are in Babel? Because the story talks about how they all decided that they wanted to like build a massive tower so that they would be remembered and where they were. And God's direction after the flood to Noah was reproduce and like spread out basically. And they were basically slapping God in the face by saying, all right, we're going to stay in this one spot and become great because of this tower that we're going to build. And so I think that it might be like, when we talk about culture, I think they might have the same culture, seeing as how there's not that many people. Yeah. Now, if this is thousands of people coming together from a bunch of different regions to try to make this tower, so that people remember them, then I think that they probably have really different cultures. But it really doesn't matter, because the whole point is that despite their culture and despite their differences, the one thing that they could come together on was defiling what God told them to do, which would be repopulate and spread out. So I think that one thing, like Dakota is talking about, that we've been talking about in college group, is that that whenever they talk about like Babylon and like Isaiah and Jeremiah and even in the New Testament and like Revelation, when that's basically just a example of man's desire to disobey God and to basically conquer everything that God has chosen to give to His people. So, and as Christians, we are His people now. So,
yeah, let's read a little bit more scripture before we talk too much about it.
So in verse 3, so we talked about these people with the same language coming together, and it says, this is what they say. They say, "Come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly," and they had bricks for stone. And then in verse 4 it says, "Then they said, Come, let us build ourselves a city in a tower with its top to the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be dispersed over the face of the whole earth."
Those are some pretty key words.
Oh, yeah.
The biggest one right there is ourselves. They're doing it for themselves.
Let us make a name for ourselves.
Think about it like we hear this all the time in church from our leaders. It's whenever you do stuff for yourself and not for God, and you're putting yourself before God, like you can know right then and there that not only are you not doing the right thing, but that thing that you're doing has zero chance of working.
Producing fruit, yeah.
Exactly.
Because you're going to fade as much as you don't want to know, as much as you don't want to hear it, as much as anybody doesn't want to hear it. I mean, just honestly, our planet and our universe in general is just a mist to God because of His just endless power. And I mean, I guess you could say time, even though I don't think time really applies to the Lord. But that's why these people, these people's lives, they didn't realize that. They didn't realize that, oh, we're only gonna be here a short amount of time. The way that they put it in the scripture is lest we be dispersed. And like I said, that's what God told them to do, was disperse and cover the face of the planet. And they literally are sitting here saying like, oh, we're gonna build this tower so that this doesn't happen. And when you do something like that to God, where you basically are testing His power and His what's the word I'm looking for? Instruction. When you're basically doubting that what He says is true. And these people are going to find out pretty quickly that probably isn't the best idea to, blatantly do something against what God has told you to do.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they could have built that tower to see God, to look at God, to build it, to get up to the heavens to see God. But instead, they said they wanted to build this tower and to make a name out of themselves. It's kind of like, instead of wanting to see God, they wanted to go up try to build up to the heavens and try to be God. Yeah, instead of seeing God, they wanted to be God. And then it even says, we're going to make a name for ourselves, lest we be dispersed over the face of the whole earth. And obviously, we understand what happens.
Yeah, I mean, anytime we try and, put ourselves before God, like, who we're making God? We're making ourselves God. We're making man God. We're trying to be something that is impossible for us to be. We're trying to be, like, do you know how ignorant that is? Like, trying to be like the creator of the universe, like us, like just denying God for ourselves, when really we're called to deny ourselves for God. And that's something we always have to strive to do. And this is a really sad story.
What's crazy to me is that, like, that's literally the problem Adam and Eve had, was when eating the fruit of knowledge of good and evil. That's why they were told not to, because you'll get to know good and evil, you'll get to see the world the way God does. But the thing is that God sees the evil, and He hates it. Yeah. He doesn't like it. And Satan neglects to inform them of that part whenever he tries to get them to eat the fruit. That yes, just because you understand it, that doesn't mean that you're going to be exempt from it. Do you know what I mean? Because God's exempt from it because he's God. But as man, we're not even close to exempt from it. We're tethered to it basically now because of Adam and Eve. So, and then right after the face of the earth is cleansed, right after the face of the earth is cleansed by the flood, they go right back to it and go right back to trying to be God. And I mean, as much as it stinks to say, we try to be God every single day. And because of the grace of Jesus Christ and the gift of Jesus Christ, we don't have to worry about God flooding the earth or, changing our language as we're about to see in this scripture.
Yeah.
Amen.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and read on. So we talked about what the men had planned on doing, what they were trying to do, and now we're going to talk about God's reaction to it. So it says, "And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of man had built. And the Lord said, Behold, they are one people, and they all have one language. And this is only the beginning of what they will do, and nothing that they propose to do now will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down there and confuse their language, so that they may not understand one another's speech." I mean, that's just... Honestly, that's insane. I mean, let me see. What are your thoughts on this?
When I read that verse for this thing that I do in my D group called a Hear Journal, I actually kind of turned it to be as in we all have a language that we are called to speak with each other in the gospel, and it kind of goes to show how powerful we can be if we're all on the same page when it comes to the gospel. Because God literally says that these people, they can speak the same language. They're of the same tongue. So like there's nothing that they can't accomplish. And through Christ, we all have a language that we can speak between each other in order to further his kingdom.
Yeah.
So I think we should see it as we can do anything because we have that language that we can speak between each other. We can do anything that God calls us to do because we have him in us.
Yeah.
So I think we just need to make that thing that we can all do. Seek people. We need to make that thing be to seek people out in order to tell them about it, so that we can add to our add to that endless power that God's given us.
Yeah, and if you look at the storyline in this, I think this is like the first, once again, fall of humanity after the flood. It's like God's like, all right, I'm destroying all of humanity, and then after there's the new start.
Dude, he destroys humanity, and he's like, ooh, that was a lot.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I don't need to do that again. Gives us the rainbow, and he's like, all right, we're gonna chill out a little bit.
Let's start again.
Yeah, we're gonna chill out a little bit now. We're not gonna just destroy my whole creation again. You know? But instead, he chose to save it. So
yeah, and then something in verse 7 it says, "Come, let us go down there." So God's saying, "Let us go." Who do you think he's talking about when he says, "Let us go"?
I think an argument can be made for him and Jesus or him and angels.
Possibly.
But I think an argument can be made for both. But either way, God's coming with more than just himself to come down here and fix this problem.
And that same thing has been said during the creation. God mentions a plural, there's multiple, and so. And God created the heavens on the fourth day. And so you think, it's Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, but
I think he created it on the second day.
Yeah, I think it was the second day. You didn't watch that movie.
Yeah. Because he remember he made the difference between the top of the
vasts of the waters,
yeah.
and then the upper vast was heaven.
Yeah, we could probably read it.
Yeah, we could.
You keep reading Tower of Babel. Look it up.
All right, so the Lord dispersed them from there, and over the face of all the earth they fell, or they left off building the city. And with this lack of communication with each other, it led to disunity. They couldn't be unified because they couldn't understand each other. And I feel like this can really be like something we can look in at our churches. If we're not on the same, if we don't believe the same thing, like if we're not focusing. Okay, yeah, if we're not focusing on the one main truth, which is Jesus, if we all have different opinions and different viewpoints instead of looking at the ultimate viewpoint, our quote unquote like language or the way we see things will be dispersed. It'll be disunified, and that can destroy a church. And just as this civilization was destroyed, the same thing can happen in a church today. But let's go ahead and read some more. It says, therefore its name was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth, and from there the Lord dispersed them over the face of all the earth. And that's basically all of the Tower of Babel. It's not a very long story, but it's definitely a lot you can get out of it, and stuff that you can really apply to today. Dakota, do you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of like how I was saying earlier, it's sad.
It really is.
It's really, I mean, and I think Will was saying this, like, we're making ourselves, God every day, and we're doing the exact same thing that they did at the Tower of Babel. Whenever we're putting ourselves before God, and whenever we don't give, everything over to God, like that's us saying to ourselves, whether or not we do it consciously, we're saying that we don't need God for this, or we're going to be our own God, or we're going to get to this high point doing it alone. And the reality is that we literally are unable to do anything at all.
Yeah.
Without what God does for us. What Will?
And that's just the thing about
Will's got a face on him.
So, thanks. So it says right here. It says right here that I think God created. It says the first verse in the Bible is in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. So.
Oh.
So he created the heavens before the first day even happened. So, yeah.
Are you sure? Because I remember the documentary said it was a day that the heavens were definitely created.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe it was like
maybe he's talking about what he's about to do.
The part you're thinking of is in verse 3. It says, God said, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw no. It's verse 6. And God said, let there be a vault between the waters that separate water from water. So God made the vault and separated the water from the water under the vault and the water above it. And it was so. And God called the vault sky. And there was evening and there was morning the second day. So I think you're probably talking about the sky. Because after that he talks about making land.
That documentary they got something off to it. 'Cause I know exactly what Billy was trying to say. Like,
yeah, maybe we're missing something. I don't know.
I'm telling you, the first verse in the Bible.
Yeah. It's
God
scripture.
created the heavens and the earth.
You know what's sad is that I knew that and I wasn't even thinking about it.
Well, it says God created the heavens and the earth, but for the next 2 chapters, he goes on talking about how he created the earth.
No, because it says the earth was formless.
Yeah.
So he kind of formed it.
Yeah.
But he had already created the earth.
And it talks about how the Spirit was hovering over the waters.
Yes. It's kind of crazy that he made waters before he made, land. But I guess it just kind of, our planet is...
There's also a lot more water than there is land.
Yeah. Well, I took a science class in college, and it said the only way for...
science boy!
Science class.
It said the only
Billy,
way for...
the science guy.
Oh my gosh. It says the only way for the chemical reaction of life to occur is with liquid water. Well, obviously
God. Do you think life is a chemical reaction, or do you think it's...
Bro, that documentary guy was...
intervention?
Well, if you think about it, everything you see is built up of chemicals.
This is true.
So, the only way for chemical reactions of life to happen is with liquid water. And also, if you look in the entire space as a whole, the only liquid water we've ever found is on Earth. Which means Earth is the only place that's habitable for any kind of life whatsoever.
True.
Speaking of that documentary, that guy in the documentary was like, God. Dude, he had the craziest voice,
it was
bro.
all deep and
he's like,
dramatic.
In the beginning,
Peaceful.
In the beginning.
God created the heavens and the earth.
It's pretty cool.
He did say that, and we're just completely like, yeah, day 2, heaven.
He did
God-
create it on the 4th day.
God's like, you know what? Let me make the earth before I make heaven.
He's like, I don't have anywhere to stay, but I'm going to make their home first.
I wonder what the new heaven will be like.
It says it, but I don't know where.
Pretty dope, probably.
The new Jerusalem.
Well, there's some references to heaven. Like, there's like the throne room is like made of, like the floor is made of like crystal. Or something like that. It's pretty insane.
Is crystal a type of burger, or is it an element?
It's both, bro. Crystal with the burger.
Yeah, the throne room of heaven is a giant burger.
It's a giant,
Dude!
It's a giant.
Yo, God knows what's up, man.
It's a crystal burger. And you think it's a 4-piece or whatever because they're like tiny.
It's a slider.
A floor full of sliders, and once you take one out and eat it, another one gets replaced, bro.
Dude, a floor
Endless
full of
supply
sliders.
of sliders.
Dude, those little sliders slap.
That
bro.
is gluttonous
good.
heaven, bro.
Dude, listen, you get a little bit of mustard on them, bro. I think they come with mustard on them though.
Ew.
They're good, bro. They got little onions on them too.
Yeah.
You're thinking of the White Castle burgers.
No, White
bro.
Castle burgers don't have onions.
Those little
on them,
onions,
bro.
though,
I mean,
they
don't have mustard on them.
Those little onions do a lot.
They get a lot.
They
of
go a
flavor.
long way.
They go pretty far.
They do.
Doesn't like McDonald's put those little onions on their burgers too?
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Dude, McDonald's
I love 'em.
is so good.
Dude, it's so bad for you. Though.
I could go for McDonald's right now.
Oh, man.
Yeah, if it wasn't midnight.
I'm always hungry.
Dude, it's only
Like,
12.
if I'm full,
it's
give
only,
me like 30
it's only
minutes,
12.
and then I'm ready to eat
Yeah.
again.
It's only 13 past midnight, boys.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well,
I
you
gotta
got
go
me.
home.
Y'all got me up late tonight, boys.
I gotta go home.
All
Alright, so...
you don't live here?
Oh, it's true.
We're
Yeah,
we're at your house for this.
Yeah,
No, we're not.
Yeah. I wish.
You
Just go
wish?
straight to my room and go to bed after.
Jeez. That's what Will's gonna do.
Yeah.
You dang right is what I'm gonna do. I gotta go work tomorrow.
So what are we doing next? What are we talking about next?
Jesus.
Oh, dude. Honestly, yeah. I think a good topic for us to talk about is Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus.
Uh-huh.
No, I know.
Well, when we were at that church on Monday, they did talk about how like Isaiah means like the same thing as like Joshua and Jesus, like a gift from God or whatever the definition is.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was weird because like I've heard that Joshua and Jesus are kind of the same,
Joshua?
but like I don't know about Isaiah. I've never heard that one before.
I don't know.
So at this point, you guys are probably realizing, oh, there's no more plan for the rest of the podcast, and we're only halfway through. Well, you're right. We don't have a plan, but I think the plan is to just, let it flow. And so what I want to talk about is what is one way in this week that you've seen Jesus work in your life?
Okay. I mean, so like yesterday, I was telling y'all about this before we started recording. Yesterday, I just had this like cloud over me. I don't know what it was. It wasn't really depression or sadness. It was just kind of like
Depression.
I didn't feel like there was much. I don't know. I just didn't see the joy in my life like I usually do, and I feel like the Lord really used that as like a way of just getting me to be close to Him yesterday. I just really feel like it was a big focus of yesterday and today. I feel like I was really, like heavenly focused the past couple of days after that happened, But still, I think that's a really evident of how the Lord's trying to like get me to be closer to Him,
Yeah.
But I really hope that it doesn't take a dark cloud over my life every day to get me to see how the Lord's working in my life,
Yeah.
I haven't necessarily prayed specifically for this, but the past couple months since like the coronavirus happened, like my original job has been like postponed until like who really knows. And so actually this past week I got like word, and like it's like happening, it's like gonna start this like we're doing more tomorrow, but like we're starting pretty much like next week. I got like a new job, boys.
Yeah,
I'm going around. I'm gonna be like fixing people's computers and stuff like that.
You
want
to fix my computer?
Dude, your computer is jacked up, son.
Yeah.
Wait, has he fixed it yet?
He hasn't called me back. I really hope he calls me tomorrow because I need it to go to school.
Guys, basically, here, I'll let Billy explain it, but basically...
I don't want to explain it.
Okay, well,
it's too much.
I'll explain it.
Pain.
Basically, Billy's screen on his computer got cracked. We don't know. We're not going to blame anybody. But Billy didn't do it, and someone at his house did. So if you're listening to this, not not cool. And his screen got cracked, and so I was actually with you whenever we picked up your computer from the repair store because you got the screen repaired. Yeah. Screen was looking nice, man. It was looking real crisp. I just never saw it turn on. Yeah. And then me and Billy get on to play we went to play some little stupid stick game on the computer.
It's fun.
And this man's computer screen is jacked up.
It started dimming out.
It's really dim. Stuff. You can't even see it. And now, the other day, Billy's telling me, yo, dude, my computer was just smoking.
It just sparked and smoke started coming up, and I was like, that's not good.
So hopefully...
That's terrible.
Bro, they were like, we can't fix it. Let's just give them the cheapest one we have.
Dude.
Well, they're going to give me a new screen, and they're not going to charge me for it, so
I don't think the screen's the problem if it was smoking and sparking.
Well, I think it involved when they were trying to replace the screen, the wires in it or something.
In the screen, the wires in the screen.
The guys that were repairing your computer basically did not know what they were doing.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention the place.
They're going to give it another try.
No,
don't mention the place.
They're going to take another stab at it.
But
hopefully they don't remember.
Yeah. So hopefully.
Wait. So all right, let's get back on the topic.
I was gonna.
Of what happened.
What has God done for you in this week?
Not fix his computer.
maybe there's a reason.
Maybe, bro.
But something that happened in my life this week is, and I feel like this happens to some people younger, but with me it happened in just the right way, is when my brother finally got his first kid a couple days ago. It kind of gave me this new transition into adulthood in my life, of showing that my brother has a kid now, and I'm an uncle.
Uncle Billy.
Yeah, I'm an uncle now, and
that's crazy, man.
And I start thinking about it. I'm like, it's such a beautiful thing seeing, this child, this innocent little child, and it's just another one of those gifts that the Lord gives us. A gift of innocence, and if you can get a glimpse of heaven, looking at the innocence of a young child is definitely one of those little glimpses of what heaven's like. Innocence. It's so beautiful. And so that's what I've been thinking about for the past couple days, and it's wonderful. But
yeah.
I'll tell you what's innocent. Well, kinda. Me and Will's new kitty.
Oh yeah,
dude,
it's right there. Look at him.
Pretty nice cat, man.
It's looking at your feet.
Dude,
it's like, what is that? Is that a toe?
Dude, this bean. Okay, so we've had this bean for about 3 days now, and it's just starting to warm up to us.
Bro, if you want to talk about patience,
bro, she's trying to slap my foot with her claws right now.
She's like, what the heck is this thing?
You got some ugly people.
Oh! Why did you do that?
She literally just clawed the heck out of his foot.
Hey,
she knows we're talking about her, man.
Her name, ready for this, is the most unique name of the year, okay? It's G. Just the letter.
Man, that's such a thought-out name.
It also, just naming her something basic like that, it really just gives you a full range of creativity on nicknames for her. So anything that has the letter G in it.
You should have just named it
Gus.
Gus. We don't need to name it Gus.
What's wrong with
Gus? That's a good cat name.
Gus is Catherine's cat's name.
Oh,
it'd be a little confusing, and it's a girl, so
yeah.
Dude, that cat really wants your foot, man.
He's staring at it. He's
bro,
like, give me that toe.
Hey, if there's one thing that we can learn from our cat wanting your foot as bad as it does, is that we need to want Jesus as bad as our cat wants to attack our feet.
Dude, she loves your foot, bro. She likes to sit on it with her.
Dude, I know, it's weird.
The cat tail up in the air.
Yeah, bro.
I can't tell if she's sleepy or if she's just getting that stalky look in her eyes.
No, she'd be sleepy all the time.
Look at that. She's a cat. She's about to fall asleep as she's just in the prowling mode.
Oh, she's so soft. It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
She's such a bean. In her tail, she got the cutest little tail. Look at that.
Anyways, this is getting off track.
Yeah. Well, what track were we on?
So I guess one thing we could talk about is, what are some glimpses of heaven that you see on earth today?
Just kind of how you were saying, one of the what were you saying about how babies are so innocent? What does that make you see?
Well, when you see innocence like a baby, you see purity. And, when you see something pure, you see something that was going by God's design. Like the Garden of Eden, it was pure. Animals lived in harmony with people. There was no death. It was harmony. And I guess innocence and purity it goes along with harmony with God's plan. Another thing, natural-wise, like if you look at creation, look at a sunset or a sunrise. You see something that just looks so divine and something that you just can't really explain.
You really can see God everywhere. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Now we're kind of sounding like hippies. Yo, dude, if you walk outside, like, just think about all the tiny little creatures that are out there, bro. God created them. But, like...
Well, every distinct little thing is remarkable.
There's so much beauty in the world. I think that we don't really recognize that enough, is that, like, every little thing that we see was precisely designed by this amazing creator that is God. Like, I think that it's just why, like, you could really just sit down for an entire day and just go around and look at all the tiny little details that God's put into everything. And
yeah.
That's something right there to be thankful for is just, like, I personally cannot create anything. And so, like, just seeing, like, all the different, aspects that go into just, I don't know.
Yeah. And
just like the dirt on the ground, like the way that the trees are formed.
Yeah.
It's wild.
If you just look at a puppy or like a kitten or something small, they don't have a worry in the world. They're just living their dream life, happy as could be.
Will, why are you smiling?
Yeah, you got something you want to say?
Because I wasn't completely focused on the podcast, and when I first started focusing in again, I heard him talking about the trees. And I was watching the Lorax last night.
Honestly,
and the Lorax speaks for the trees.
Ed Helms is
he's the one.
Dude, you look like the
Lorax.
Lorax.
I look like the Lorax?
No, I know someone who looks like the Lorax. Y'all don't know who he is, but I know. He's a short, bald man with a big mustache. Wonderful, man.
Are you sure he's not the guy that tried to kill Mario?
Wait, what?
You talking about Wario?
Wario?
I don't know.
Who you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is his name like Professor?
I have no idea.
No, it's just... Oh, you're talking about Sonic,
Yeah, that's
bro.
what I was thinking. With the big ball thing. He like rides around in the ball thing.
Yeah, Dr. Eggman, bro. No, dude.
Oh, he looks like a seal, bro.
Dude, but I didn't know Danny DeVito, he plays the Lorax, bro. That's wild.
Yeah.
He looks just like the Lorax.
There's a lot of famous actors in there.
Yeah, dude.
I know Zac
Efron, Taylor
Efron's
Swift.
in it.
Yeah. Oh, and Rob Riggle was the little short dude, O'Hare.
Mm-hmm.
I say let it die. He's talking about the trees.
So who's like a who in your life has been a very had like a big influence on your relationship with Jesus?
Recently?
Don't say Billy.
In general, well, it was, but I'm not gonna say Billy. I think my friend Hunter Welborn definitely helped me a lot, especially since he's in my D group, and that helps a lot. I see him a lot. But I think he's just done a good job of taking from where he was before he found Christ and just correlating it to where I was, and we definitely were on a little bit of different levels of how full of sin our lives were. But at the end of the day, before you have Christ, I mean, your life is sin. So I mean, I think he's done a really good job of just showing me the way how to be just even completely separate from spirituality, if that's even fair to say, but just like how to live as a man and how to be a good husband and leader of men. You know what I mean? I think he's really stepped up, especially in this time of transition in our church when we don't really have a college pastor. Yeah. So
I will name a couple people who I think have had a pretty substantial impact on my life, not only as a Christian, but just like, well, yeah, I guess like with the Christian values of always trying to be helpful to other people, and just, I mean, overall just being a good person. So I'd say one of those people would be Mr. Frank Norris.
Frankie.
Frank.
Oh, I think we should make this known. So a couple podcasts ago, when we were talking about Ryan.
No.
Oh, you're right. We can't expose him like that.
You kind of ruined it, but don't.
No, we didn't. No, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Ryan is
we don't
a completely separate individual.
We don't want to talk about Ryan. We'll probably have Ryan at some point on the podcast, but I don't know.
We won't have Frank though, even though he's our number one fan.
But yeah, Frank. Since he's started becoming our main Sunday school leader, and even before, whenever
our main listener on the podcasts.
What?
And our main listener on the podcast.
There he is.
I don't know.
How did you know about that?
Because y'all told me.
Oh.
Just seeing the way he lives and the way that he treats people with kindness and he's always loving on people. Like he I don't know, just like the what's the word? Just like the vibe that he emits. Like he's such a down to earth guy.
Yeah.
Like he's always being honest about stuff, and he'll be straight up with you, and you can tell that he really cares about what people say, and he's a really good listener. And also, it's he's a really good dad, and I feel like one of the things that I've seen in him that I need to work on in my life is the patience he has with his kid, man.
Lord, that man's patience is next level.
I gotta work on that.
Parents with little kids like Remy in general, dude.
Dude,
oh man, the patience is needed.
I'm gonna need to work on that before I,
Dude, you do
start thinking about becoming a father.
This man is not a patient man. I'm not either though, so I don't know what I'm really.
I'll name one more person, and that would be El Madre, my mother. Just growing up,
Donna.
And back when I used to not really go to church much, I'd stopped going. Back when I was younger, going into my teenage years, my mom was the main one in my family who just went to church every single week, and I think that really had a big impact on me because it's she always tried to get me to go, and looking back on that, I really appreciate it, but even when I was kind of dismissive of it, she always was trying, and she was always there for me, and her being on a schedule of regularly going definitely has influenced me to just be more consistent with my faith and not to waver or differentiate from it or try and be something that I shouldn't try to be.
Yeah, it's good.
And both Frank and my mother have like I said, they've taught me some very, very good values about just being a good person, caring for others, listening, just being there for people. What about you, Billy?
Yeah, Billy.
Who's somebody in your life, son?
Somebody in your life. Actually, I'm really interested to hear about this because Billy is the person that kind of got us both going back to church. So I want to see who influenced the man himself.
There's quite a few people that have been a big influence in my life, and there's just been really great people. Y'all have mentioned a couple of them, but one big one that I just really want to mention. Yeah.
My mom,
Donna.
But one big one, my dad, I really want to mention. And the reason why I want to mention my dad is because, I've been watching him grow spiritually, and we will have some good talks about, his views and certain viewpoints, different viewpoints on the Bible, and just the way he thinks is wonderful. And a lot of times he will talk about how he raised me. And, going back to how he was raised, basically by his mother, almost fatherless, basically. Seeing him come from a background like that and raising me the way he did, it really makes me enjoy him as a father. He really basically taught me how to be a father. Because, it's just wonderful to actually think about where he was and where he is now. And when I see that in someone, how they started off to be, and to see how they are now through Jesus, that's just insanely inspiring. So that's one of the people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's crazy to see, you don't really think about it, especially when you're not a believer, but once you become one, to see just how many people really care about you and want you to feel that love that Christ freely gives us. You really don't notice as much, even when you are a believer. You don't really notice all the people that want to help you out in life, that want to put you on that right path. And I think all of our parents have done a good job. I know they go to church differing amounts. Probably mine the least of which, but still, they did a good job of instilling those Christ-like qualities in my life, and even when we didn't go to church, I mean, they still have those high standards of me that I should live like a good Christian man. So I mean,
yeah, and it's when your dad says like they've had times where they could have been a better father, but in reality, with me and my dad, the way he raised me was, I think, the best way you could ever be raised. And that's why I think he's the greatest, or other than God, obviously, he's the greatest dad I could have ever asked for on this earth.
he's your daddy.
Yeah.
El Padre.
El Padre.
The dad.
The daddy.
The big one.
The big G.
All right. So, so do y'all want to talk about a country, missionaries?
Let me do my random
we can think of them.
No.
Oh yeah, we don't.
I have no thoughts.
Pakistan.
Dude.
Random
I
dot
think we
country.
prayed on Pakistan last time.
Talk
Uruguay.
about Burma.
Is that racist?
What do you guys think about?
Uruguay.
I have to say it like this because I said it the first
Uruguay.
time. Uruguay.
All right.
Is that you like that?
Sure, let's do that.
Wait, you have to roll the R. Uruguay.
So,
I
anything
don't
specific about Uruguay?
Oh, they're cool.
Are they? Are they cool?
Probably a pretty.
Are they
warm
cool
country,
people?
honestly. Is it in Central America?
Maybe they're really hot people, because I think it's in Africa.
That's what. Oh, is it in Africa?
Bro, you come in this household, there's one hot person, and it's me. No, I'm kidding.
It's definitely hot.
You should have seen a yawn and all
I
the
mean,
teeth.
G. It's G.
Yeah.
Alright, so,
Where is Uruguay?
Uruguay is,
South America.
west of Chattanooga.
Oh.
Anyways,
What?
so I'm on the site, ChristianHeadlines.com, and the title says that there is, well, it doesn't say there is, but it says, a great spiritual famine in Uruguay. And so that right away, that makes me think that, they're suffering.
They're like the
I mean, we all are. So let's see. The whole point of coming to Uruguay was because we were coming to an area that has no Baptist work. Explain this guy Lyle. Let's see. Now they're like working on making churches there. Church attendance ranges from 50 to 60 at like the biggest church that they have there, I think. At least that the ones that these people have planted there.
No.
This says, so this is another quote. You end up with a society of very educated, very cultured, and very proud people, but they are also a very negative people, and they don't have a very moral foundation. Yeah, they don't have a very moral foundation. There are a lot of out-of-wedlock children, and alcoholism is becoming more of a problem among teenagers. And it says, not only that, but Uruguay has one of the highest suicide rates in the world. Wow, that's crazy.
Took out a place without
Christ. Yeah.
I'm trying to find statistics.
I think that really shows just how little it matters to be an educated, or what was the definition that you said, or the description that you read about them? That they're very proud and
Very proud.
uneducated. It kind of shows how meaningless that is if you're gonna have a bunch of alcoholic teenagers and suicide.
Yeah, and as a missionary, it seems like it would be pretty difficult to share gospel with people all the time who are feeling suicidal.
Oh, wait a second. This says Christianity is the largest religion in Uruguay. It says that,
And think about
but it says, but over 41% of the population doesn't have a religion, or is irreligious.
But I mean, think about it like this: Christianity is probably the biggest religion in the United States, and there's still a very small amount of people that follow it.
Yeah.
So I mean,
how active are they in their Christianity? That's the thing you gotta look at.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guarantee you, especially in the South, bro, there's so many people you could go and be like, hey, are you a Christian? They're like, yeah. It's like, do you go to church? Do you fellowship?
Yeah.
Do you worship? Do you pray? Do you?
Well, think about it in the church alone. What is the Christianity percentage in the church? How many of them are actually being Christian? How many of them are living Christian?
How many of them are actually discipling and actually trying to grow in their faith?
Yeah.
How many of them are happy with just going to church 2 days a week and getting their fill from a preacher?
Alright, so this says
People want to go on Easter
another
and
website,
Christmas.
just so we have multiple sources.
Yeah.
This says the Christianity percentage that is there is 66%. So that doesn't really match up with the other statistic. But anyways, there's a good amount of Christians, but it also says that there is thousands of people, tens of thousands of people that are unreached, and so they haven't heard about Jesus at all.
Wherever there's an unreached person, there's a need.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
So we can definitely pray over that.
Here's a question before we pray. You think there's penguins in Uruguay?
No.
Because it's pretty south, and I know that they have penguins in South America.
I mean, I think that part is. It's not really. It's not even that.
Are
That
there
south.
penguins in Uruguay?
Here's what I found.
Here's what he found.
That's not that south right there.
Yo!
There are penguins in Uruguay.
Really?
I didn't say that.
I told you.
There might be. It says, while Antarctica is famously the best place to go if you're looking for the ultimate penguin trip, there's also no shortage of opportunities to do some penguin watching everywhere from the Galapagos Islands all the way through Peru, Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, and Brazil.
Okay.
Yeah, I figured I'd heard something
Interesting.
about that. I didn't just
pretty cool.
ask a random question. Just whenever you said Uruguay and you showed me where it was, I was like, there's probably some penguins there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Penguins, a real marvel of
Penguins.
God's creation.
Honestly, do you guys... No, I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
Huh?
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Alright, don't say it. But now you're going to.
Nah, bro, I'm not Luke Whitmore.
You know, I probably shouldn't say this. You know what? I'm gonna say it anyway. Dude, that has to be his most.
His defining quality, bro.
Yeah, I shouldn't say it, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
You know, I really should just keep this to myself, but guys, listen here. You know what's crazy?
Let me tell you. Anyway, so yeah, I think we can get into it. Let's get into this Uruguay prayer.
Will, since you're so keen on the Penguins, how would you lead us out?
All right, y'all bow your heads with me. Dear Lord, we thank you for giving us this platform to speak to the. No matter how few people may listen to this podcast, Father, just thank you for giving us the platform to speak to those who do enjoy listening to our voices and listen to us spread your word. I pray for these unreached people in Uruguay and even the people that do know you, Lord. It doesn't sound like they have a very spiritual culture down there, Father, and I know how our culture in America is with even being a country full of Christians, Father. So I just pray that you can heal the culture in Uruguay and just lead those people that don't know you to your altar, Father, so that they can pray and see your face, as well as the people in America that claim to know you, Father, but don't really seek your heart. I pray that you would give us the strength and the drive to seek your heart like you do to so many people around this world, Father. Lord, I thank you and I praise you. And I just pray that you can make your love and grace evident in our lives, Father. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen, boys. That was a very unconventional way of doing a podcast, but I didn't think it was half bad. Honestly.
It wasn't half bad. Half of it was good.
No, yeah. It wasn't I'd say it was 3/4 bad. No, I'm kidding.
Only when Billy was talking.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, we really thank you for joining us on this, very, it's a very odd podcast because, we kind of...
It's Odd Pod.
Odd Pod, hey.
You should name it that. Instead of episode 7 or whatever, name it Odd Pod.
I'll say,
The Odd Pod.
instead of number 7, I'll say number Odd Pod.
No, don't say numbers, just say Odd Pod.
So, cast those nets, Odd Pod.
Signing off.
Signing off. This has been your host, Will.
Wait.
Billy.
Do it again.
Sorry, signing off. This has been Will.
Billy.
You gotta say "and" for the next person.
Signing off. This is Will and
Billy and
Dakota.
with G.
Hey, come back here.
looking at your hand.
She's hot.
Alright. See y'all
Anyways,
later.
guys, we thank you for joining us. We will catch you on the flippity flip.
On the flip flop.
The
Alright,
flip
guys,
flop.
I got to go.
See you, boy.
We'll see you in the year.
I'm going to church on Sunday.
Oh.
Dude.
I'm leaving after. Alright. Ow!
Yeah. Billy, tell us your greatest desire in life.
To be known for loving Christ.